Assalamu alaikum dear students, welcome to English Keys channel. Today we are going to study a very beautiful poem by Langston Hughes, and the topic of today's lesson is I Dream a Word. So without wasting any time, let's start the poem. Let's read the first stanza. I dream a word where man, no other man will scorn. Scorn means to contempt, to despise, to discourage, to insult. Where love will bless the earth and peace its path adorn to decorate. So he wants to talk about an ideal place, a utopian world where nobody scorns the other person, and where there is peace and blessing everywhere on this planet Earth. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul, like where greed no longer saps means contaminates, to spoil. So he says that I dream a world where everybody will know what freedom is, like everyone will taste the fruit of freedom, and where greed will no longer contaminate the soul, nor avarice lalach, where nor avarice blights our day, blights to destroy, to blast, to destruct. So this is the first stanza, and in this first stanza the poet actually talks about, and not talks, actually he dreams of the utopian world, a very ideal world where no one holds in contempt to each other, like where people are not scolding each other, where people are not insulting each other. And he says that if we will do this, the earth will be adorned, decorated with love and peace. And the poet actually wants to personify love to enhance the idea of an ideal world. And he says that love with all the human beings and peace in our society is the only way, and it is actually the gem of humanity. It is the basic instinct, and we should always work and act according to our this basic instincts. So he specially describes the love for black people in America, and this poem is actually written in a very different context. This poem was written when people in USA, they were divided according to their races. Like black people, they were disregarded, and we have already discussed it in previous lectures. A speech by Nelson Mandela, and we have also read a speech by Martin Luther King Jr. So we have sufficiently discussed it. So this poem is also relevant and of that similar and particular context. So in next stanza, the poet says that a word I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth, and every man is free. So the poet personifies and he says that I want a world where there is no discrimination on the behalf of color or your creed, and there is no segregation of color, caste, or creed. Everyone is so generous that they are giving their facilities and their privileges to other, and they are respecting each other. And in the last stanza, the poet says that where wretchedness, poverty, misery, miserable state of life, where everything is destructed, where wretchedness will hang its head and joy like a pearl attend the need of all mankind, of such I dream of the world. So the poet personifies wretchedness to a very bad thing, and on the other hand he personifies joy with a pearl. Okay, so he says that I want a world where wretchedness will hang its head, like where wretchedness will crush itself, kill itself, and joy it will prevail, and it will attend the needs of all mankind. Of such I dream our word. He says that I dream a word like that. So this poem is actually written by James Langston Hughes. He was a black poet, and he was born in 1902 and he died in 1967, very young age. He was born in Missouri, USA, and he was a versatile writer, a poet, a novelist, and a playwright who wrote more than 35 books. So he held posts at the University of Chicago and Atlanta. He was a professor as well, and he was a very decorated and established poet. So let's understand the poem according to the book's point of view. I have already explained the poem, but let's read it, what the scholars have written in the book. So this simple but beautiful poem presents before us the dream vision of a utopia. Utopia means an ideal world which has perfect peace and harmony, where freedom rules supreme and everyone lives a blessed life. So let's study the poem stanza by stanza. So the first stanza, it actually envisions a world that is blessed with love and peace. We have already discussed it, where no one despises another. And the second stanza envisages a world where all joy, everybody enjoys freedom, where greed and avarice do not destroy people's peace of mind. And the third stanza visualizes a world which is free of discrimination on the basis of color and race, where all share natural resources. And the last stanza dreams of a world where there is no poverty, no misery, no joy, and happiness serves all mankind. The poet says that he dreams of such a world for all. Now, the question to you is that do you think such a world is possible? If not, why not? So, personally, I think that it is not possible because we are blessed with two facilities or two qualities. There is a good quality in us and there is a bad quality in us, and it is common and similar to everybody. So it is impossible that everyone is honest and everyone is hardworking and everyone is dedicated and everyone is loving. It's not possible. It's not a human phenomenon. Okay, so we human beings, we are we are helping as well, we are loving as well, and we are social as well, but it is not possible that everyone becomes social and everyone becomes happy and caring, because we have different personalities, we have individual differences, and where there are individual differences, there is a possibility of conflict, and where there are conflicts, there are definitely there are problems. So personally, I think that that type of word is not possible, but yes, at least we can live in a possibly better way, and we should always try to give space and to respect the freedom of other people. So the question number 4 is question number 3 is that now you have understood the poem, write a paraphrase or explanation of the poem in your own words. We have already explained the poem. Now I think you can easily write a paraphrase or an explanation in your own words. Question number 4 is that incidentally all three writers in this unit, like we have studied three chapters in this unit. First we have studied a speech by Dr. King, then we have studied a speech by Nelson Mandela, and now we have studied this poem by Langston Hughes. So all of these three writers are black, okay, and you must have noted that they have used very forceful language to communicate their message to the people. So you have to write an essay about the language about the language which they have used, and you have to write an essay about the circumstances that led them to be so passionate, so vocal, and so forceful. So bache, it is natural that when you are facing a very serious problem and when you are under intense pressure, so you sort of become very creative. Okay, you are it is always said that the lofty literature and the sublime literature is always produced in the bad times, okay, and in suppressed hours. जब मुश्किलात होती हैं तो मुश्किलात में ही क्या होता है, अच्छा अदब जो है वो जनरेट होता है. तो चूंकि ये तीनों भी ऐसी नेशन से और ऐसे ऐसे सिनेरियोज से और ऐसे टाइम्स से ताल्लुक़ रखते हैं कि जहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत ज़्यादा थी, तो उन प्रॉब्लम्स के नतीजे में इन लोगों ने क्या किया, इन लोगों ने बहुत पावरफुल और बहुत वोकल और फोर्सफुल लैंग्वेज यूज़ करते हुए इन्होंने अपना जो मुद्दा है या अपना जो इनका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है वो इन्होंने बयान किया. क्योंकि जब आप तकलीफ में होते हैं तो फिर आपके अंदर से दिल से आवाज़ निकलती है, और वो आवाज़ जो होती है वो क्या होती है, वो फोर्सफुल भी होती है और वो पैशनेट भी होती है. तो आपने इसके ऊपर ऐसे लिखना है. नाउ आई विल नॉट गिव यू अ कुक्ड ऐसे, आई विल जस्ट गाइड you that how you can write an essay. First of all, you will like if you have to write an essay, you will divide that essay in 5 portions. First of all, you will give an introduction, and in introduction you will talk about freedom and its value and its important, and then you will this will provide a preface to your essay. ये आपके essay की एक तमहीद होगी. उसके बाद you will write 3 paragraphs. In first paragraph you will write a general paragraph on Dr. King's speech. Then you will write a general paragraph on Nelson Mandela's speech, and in third paragraph you will talk about this poem that we are studying now in this lecture. And at the end, in your conclusion, in your 5th paragraph, you will talk and you will tell that when there is a problem, when there is a very serious situation, when people are feeling it and they are feeling that something bad is going on, so it is natural that when you are in pain or when you are under a pressure, so your voice becomes honest and it comes out of your heart, it comes out of your soul, and definitely, and that voice is very forceful, that is very powerful, and that is very passionate. सो इस तरीके से आपने जो है ना वो अपना ऐसे जो है वो आपने कंपोज करना है. इंटरनेट इज़ अ ग्रेट सोर्स ऑफ सच इन्फॉर्मेशन, सो यू कैन टेक हेल्प फ्रॉम गूगल अंकल एज वेल. So question number 5 is that compare and contrast Dr. King's dream and Nelson Mandela's hope with that of Langston Hughes. So if we talk about the comparison and contrast, so one thing is clear that all of these three writers, they are talking about freedom. Okay, this is a similarity. You can make notes. Okay, the first similarity is that all of these three writers, they are talking about freedom. Okay, second similarity is that all of the three writers are black. Okay, and third similarity is that all of these three writers, they were activists. They were not some people sitting outside the scenario and they were just reporting the things. No, they actually suffered. Okay, they themselves suffered this whole this slavery and this discrimination and this segregation and integration. So this is the third similarity. Now if we talk about the contrast is, Dr. King is, if you just look at the speech, so he seems a bit realistic. He is talking about realities. Okay, he is not a dreamy person. Actually, he is. We can say that he actually talks about a dream, but his dream is a realistic dream. Okay, he talks about things that can be done, that are possible. Nelson Mandela, when he talks in his speech, he also is realistic, and he wants to depict and portray a world that is possible. But Langston Hughes, we respect his point of view and his feelings, and his feelings are very noble and very sublime and very pure. But the point is that his feelings are not realistic. Okay, he is like you can say that he is a bit more emotional. He is emotional more than it is required. So he is talking about some utopian world, that ideal world that is only possible in paradise. That's not possible on this planet Earth, that everyone is happy and everyone is honest and everyone is dedicated and everyone is sincere. It's not going to happen at any period of this time. It is not possible for humans to live in peace. Okay, so Langston Hughes, he is talking about a dreamy world, he is talking about a fictional world, he is talking about a utopian world. But on the other hand, Dr. King and Nelson Mandela, they are talking about a real world, and their suggestions and their propositions are based on realities. Now use the following chart to record your statement of the meaning of the poem and your observations about the techniques of the poem. Each column in the chart deals with one of the poetic techniques. Now you can see the chart on the next page. I will show you this. So you have to find out of each category one thing out of each category. First of all, you have to talk about the stanza type. आपने बताना है कि इसमें से कौन सा इसका जो है वो stanza type है. Okay, I will tell you that couplet is actually a stanza of 2 lines. Okay, tercet is a stanza of 3 lines. Quatrains is a stanza of 4 lines. Quintets is a stanza of 5 lines. Okay, sextets is a stanza of 6 lines, and octave is a stanza of 8 lines. Now just look at the poem and find out that what type of poem it is. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. So it is a 14 line poem. Okay, and each stanza, first stanza is of 3 lines, tercet, then tercet, then it is a single line, then tercet, and then a quadrant. Okay, so first 3 lines, then 3 lines, then one line, then 3 lines, and then 4 lines. So this is how you can calculate the stanza type of a poem. Now who is the speaker? Speaker is obviously the poet, and the poet is a man. You can say that he is a father, and looking at his age, we cannot say he is old, he is young, or it can be a boy or girl, it can be a son or daughter. So out of this category, you can say that the speaker is the poet. Okay, not an ordinary man, not a woman, not any mother, not any father, but it's actually the poet who is talking about. And you can find out if there is some non-human element speaking. It can be an animal, it can be some wild animal, it can be domestic animal, or it can be some plants. But there is no one out of this category which you can point out in this poem. Now if you talk about sounds, there is no particular rhyme scheme, but yes, you can find some rhyme schemes in the first lines, like man, scorn, adorn. You can find the rhyme scheme here, and all, and then way, day, all, sol. Okay, so this is way, day. So this is a rhyme scheme. Okay, then bee and free, you can find out the rhyme scheme. Okay, and head and word, pearl. So this is how you can find out the rhyme scheme. And then there are alliteration, like if vowel sounds are repeated, and the first words like cat sat on the mat, so c sounds is repeated. This type of occurrence is called alliteration. Consonants, when consonant sounds are repeated, and assonance is when vowel sounds are repeated. And onomatopoeia is when some animated sound is depicted in form of words. Like if you say that caw caw, it is actually the sound of a crow. So if you use the words of caw caw in your poem, that will be actually the onomatopoeia. So these things are not used actually in this poem. And if we talk about imagery, imagery is of 5 types: visual imagery, oral imagery, olfactory imagery, that is related to smell, and imagery of taste, and imagery of touch. So the imageries are not used in this poem. If you talk about figurative language, similes are used, metaphors are used, and implied metaphors are used, and some other devices are also used in this poem. So we have talked a lot about the poem. Now we move to the language study, and in language study we have a very easy topic, and that is articles. So the adjectives a, and the are usually called articles. Now it's very interesting to know that we have to pronounce this word as the or the. So I have made a video on this, that how we have to correctly pronounce the. We have to pronounce it as the, or we have to pronounce it as the. So I will share the link of that video in the description. You should watch that video to know that either you have to pronounce this word as the or as the. So the adjectives a, and the are usually called articles. They are really demonstrative adjectives. So actually they are demonstrative adjectives. They are used to demonstrate, to indicate, but they are like according to grammarians and language experts, they are known as articles. So there are 2 types of articles. Okay, there are 2 articles, a or an, and the. So these are actually 2 types. A or an, it's grammatically they are same, but their functions or their usage is different. So a or an are called indefinite articles because it leaves indefinite the person or thing spoken of. Indefinite means where there is no particularity. Okay, where there is no definition. Okay, there is no classification about the object. So that's why they are called indefinite articles. For example, a doctor, that is, it can be any doctor. When you say a doctor, it can be any doctor. You're not talking about us some particular doctor. Okay, so that's why we call them indefinite articles. The or the, again I will say that you must watch that video. Either you have to pronounce it as the or the. So the is called the definite article because it points out some particular person or thing. For example, he saw the doctor. When you will say the doctor, you are not talking about any doctor. You are actually talking about some particular doctor which other person also knows, meaning some particular doctor. So now we will learn that where we have to use a and where we have to use an, and then we will learn that where we have to use the and where we do not need to use the. So the choice between a and an is determined by sound. Before a word beginning with a vowel sound, an is used. For example, an ass, an enemy, an inkstand, an orange, an umbrella, an hour, an honest man, an heir, etc. and etc. So it will be noticed that the word hour, honest, and heir begin with a vowel sound, as the initial consonant h is not pronounced. So just not get deceived that like h is coming as the first alphabet of this word. So we will use a. No. Although h is coming as the first alphabet of this word, but it is not pronounced. The pronunciation starts with o. That's why you will use the word, the article and, not a. So before a word beginning with a consonant sound, a is used. Not consonant alphabet, but consonant sound. Here, not like vowel alphabet, not vowel alphabet, but vowel sound. Okay, so before a word beginning with a consonant sound, a is used. For example, a boy, a reindeer, a woman, a yard, a horse, a hall, also a university, a union, a European Union, and Iowa, a useful article, etc. and etc. Now, because these words like university and union, you will say that in university the first word is vowel word, okay, and in union the first word is vowel word. Yes, they are vowel words, but they are not vowel sounds. When you say university, the y sound is not a vowel sound, it is a consonant sound. Okay, there are 44 sounds in English language. Okay, and out of those 44 sounds, 24 sounds are consonant and 20 sounds are vowels. So this y sound is not part of the vowels, but it's part of the consonants. So that's why we will not use with these words and, but we will use a. So because these words begin with a consonant sound, that's why you will use a, not an. Similarly, we say a 1 rupee note, such a one-eyed man. Okay, so one, here you will say that like this word is starting with o, that's why we will use an. No, because v sound is not a vowel sound, it is a consonant sound, because one begins with the consonant sound of v. So before words beginning with h and not ascended on the first syllable, an is often used. For example, an historical novel, okay, an hotel. So it's not a rule of law, it's not a pet set rule, but in some cases you can use you can, it's altogether fine to say a historical novel, a hotel, but you can also say an historical, because h is preceded by I, and here h is preceded by o. So if h is preceded with the with a vowel sound, you can use with that word an. Okay, so the article a can also be used with it. Okay, it's not the pets set pet rule that you always have to use an, you can also use a. Now the use of definite article the definite article the is used when we speak of a particular person or a thing or one already referred to. Okay, if something is already discussed and you are going to discuss that particular thing again, you will use the with that. For example, the book you wanted is out of print. I dislike the fellow. Let us go to the club. When a singular noun is meant to represent a whole class, when you are using a singular noun and that is supposed to represent a whole class, you will use the word the definite article the. For example, the cow is useful animal. Okay, the horse is a noble animal. The cat loves comfort. The rose is the sweetest of all flowers. Okay, the banyan is a kind of fig tree, and do not see a kind of a fig tree. Okay, a kind of a fig tree. No, it's wrong. A kind of fig tree. Okay, if you will say a kind of a fig tree, it will be incorrect, and this is the common error. Notice that the two nouns man and woman used in general sense to denote the whole class never have either article. So when we say man is a social animal, so by this word man we are actually referring to a whole class. And when we say that women are beautiful, we are actually using the word single word women, and we are talking about all the women on this planet earth. But these two nouns, they do not have they do not need any article. You cannot say that the man is a man is social animal, the women are beautiful, a woman are beautiful. There is no need to apply article with these two nouns. Like man is the only animal that uses fire, woman is man's mate. So there is no need to use any article with these two common nouns. They are common nouns, they are not proper nouns, but there is no need to use any article with these nouns. So with names of gulfs, rivers, seas, oceans, group of islands and mountain ranges, for example, the Persian Gulf, London is on the Thames. Thames is a very beautiful river in London. The Red Sea, the Indian Ocean, the British Isles, the Himalayas lie to the north of India, the Alps, and we also say the Ukraine, the Crimea, the Hague, the Prague, etc. and etc. Okay, the fourth place where the or the is used before the names of certain books, for example, the Vedas, the Puranas, the Iliad, the Ramayana, the Holy Book, etc. and etc. And we can also say that Homer's Iliad, Valmiki's Ramayana, Paulo Coelho's Alchemist. You can also say the Alchemist. And if you are talking with reference to the poet's name, there is no need to apply the article with that. And fifth position is that before common nouns which are names of things unique of their kinds. For example, the sky. Now the sky is actually a common noun, but it is unique. Okay, there are no there can be 1 million skies, but the sky we know of is a single sky. The ocean, the sea, the earth. Sometimes the is placed before a common noun to give the meaning of an abstract noun. For example, at last the warrior. Okay, in him was thoroughly aroused. Now we are not talking about a particular warrior or a soldier. जैसे हम कहते हैं ना कि उसके अंदर का शेर जाग गया, उसके अंदर का वॉरियर जाग गया. So to give the abstract touch to a noun, you can use the article the. Sixth position is that before a proper noun only when it is qualified by an adjective or a defining adjectival clause. For example, the great Caesar, the immortal Shakespeare. Okay, the Mr. Abrar whom you met last night is my uncle. The Mr. Now Abrar is a proper noun and there is no need to apply any article with proper noun, but there can be so many Mr. Abrars. So he is saying that the Mr. Abrar whom you met, जिस मिस्टर अब्रार को आप मिले हो, he is my uncle. Okay, with superlatives, with the superlative degrees of adjective, you can use article the or the darkest cloud, the darkest. Now it is a degree of superlative adjective, you can use you will use the article the. This is the best book of elementary chemistry. Ordinals, with ordinals you can use this definite article. Before musical instrument you will use this definite article, and before an adjective when a noun is understood. For example, the poor are always with us. Okay, so now it is understood that you are talking about the poor people. Now poor is adjective, noun is understood. Okay, noun is what? Noun is people, the poor people, and it is people is understood. That's why we sometimes omit or skip the noun and we just use adjective before a noun with emphasis to give the force of a superlative. For example, the verb is the word in sentence. The verb is the word in a sentence. So all of the words are words. Okay, all of the parts of a sentence are obviously words, but when you say the verb is the word in a sentence, actually you are emphasizing, and when you say the word you mean the chief word. Okay, and you can use this definite article as an adverb with comparatives. For example, the more the merrier. Okay, जितना ज़्यादा उतना अच्छा. The more they get, the more they want. Okay, so in a comparative situation you can also use this. Now the use of indefinite articles, where you use indefinite articles, the indefinite article is used in its original numeral sense of 1. For example, 12-inch makes a foot. Okay, not a word was said, a word to the wise is sufficient, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bushes. So in its genuine numeral form you will use it. Okay, and in the vague sense of certain, for example, Ranchard Pitamber is suspected by the police. Okay, like one evening a beggar came to my door. Okay, it is a vague statement, like the person who is talking about do not know the beggar, so he uses the article a in the sense of any, to single out an individual as the representative of a class. For example, a pupil should obey his teacher. Okay, now a pupil actually refers to all of the pupils. A cow is a useful animal. When he says that a cow, he is not talking about some particular cow. Okay, he is talking about actually all the cows in the world. Omission of the article. Now the places where we do not need to place any article before a common noun used in its widest sense. For example, man is mortal, what kind of flower it is. Now man is mortal, it is here man is used in a very widest sense. So there is it is understood, it is self explanatory, so there is no need to place an article before names of materials. For example, gold is a precious metal, cotton grows in America. There is no need to say a gold or the gold. Okay, so usually before proper nouns there is no need to place any article, definite or indefinite. There is no need to place any article before proper nouns. For example, Islamabad is the capital of Pakistan. There is no need to add any article with Islamabad or Pakistan. Lahore is a big city. Newton was a great philosopher. Okay, you have to note it that when the article is used before proper nouns, they become common nouns. Okay. For example, this man is a second Newton. Now you have used the word a second. Now this Newton is not used as a as a proper noun. Okay. Actually you want to say that a philosopher as great as Newton. Okay. जैसे हम कहते हैं कि ये अपने दौर का बड़ा अरस्तू है. And before abstract nouns used in a general sense, for example, wisdom is the gift of heaven. Now this wisdom is abstract noun, okay, and it is used in general sense, so there is no need to define it or indefine it. There is no need to place any article with it. Okay. Before languages, there is no need to place any article with languages. And before school, college, church, bed, table, hospital, market and prison, when these places are visited or used for their primary purposes. That's, for example, the school is very near to my home. I met him at the market. The bed is broken. I went to the hospital to see your uncle. Got it? Now before names of relations like father, mother, aunt, uncle, and also cook and nurse. For example, father has returned, aunt wants you to say, cook has given notice. So there is no need to place any article with this. Acha, before predictive nouns denoting a unique position, for example, in essence, a position that is normally held at one time by one person only. For example, he was elected chairman of the board. Okay. Mr. Babar became principal. Now there is no need to place a principal or the principal. Okay. In certain phrases consisting of a transitive verb followed by its object, so just leave it, it's not important. Now let's come to the exercise. It is very easy exercise. Copper is a useful metal. He is an honorable man. Okay. An able man. The reindeer. Honest man speaks the truth. Rustam is a young Parsi. Do you see the blue sky? Aladdin has a wonderful lamp. The world is a happy place. He returned after an hour. The school will shortly close. The sun shines brightly. I first met him a year ago. Yesterday, a European called at my office. Pashto is a difficult language. The Ganga is a sacred river. The lion is the king of beasts. You are a fool to say that. French is an easy language. The French defeated the Germans. Which is the longest river in Pakistan? Raja has come without an umbrella. Islamabad is a very dear place to live in. She is an untidy girl. The children found an egg in the nest. I bought a horse, an ox, and a buffalo. If you see him, give him a message. English is the language of the people of England. So that is the end of today's lesson. Inshallah, in next class we will start unit number 3. So be with me, and if you are new on this channel, please go to the playlist and check the playlist, and you will find the whole solution of English grade 12th and English grade 11th and 9th and 10th and 8th and 7th and BA and MA. So take care of yourself and subscribe the channel if you are new, and if you haven't subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.